Hello and welcome to Lesson 4, entitled, Are They Saying the Same Thing?, located within the larger topic of expressions. We can say that two algebraic expressions are equivalent expressions if, when any values are substituted for the variables, the results are equal. So we're going to work on a couple of different ways to try to determine if two algebraic expressions are equivalent expressions. One way is to create a table of values, and that's going to relate to what we just discussed. We're going to substitute values on for the variables and keep a table to see how the results come up. The second way we can determine if two algebraic expressions are equivalent is by graphing the expressions. Finally, we can use rewriting the expressions using number properties, and that can also help you to determine if two expressions are equivalent. Now, just a quick side note, if you're not very familiar with your properties of number properties or operation properties of mathematics, especially associative and distributive property, now would be a great time to review those properties. So let's take a look at an example. We have two expressions, 3 times the quantity of x plus 1 minus 2x, and x plus 3. We can use a table to evaluate each expression for different values of the variable. So, for example, let's take a look at the value 0. What we can do is we can substitute the value of 0 for x into each of the expressions. Let's take a look at our first expression. 3 times, instead of x, we're going to use the value of 0 plus 1 minus 2 times 0. Simplifying this, we would come up with an expression that says 3 times 1 minus, 2 times 0 is 0, and we know that 3 times 1 is 3. So what that gives us is a value that when x is equal to 0, our expression equals 3. Now we can do the same thing with our other expression, which is x plus 3. We write out x plus 3. If we substitute 0 for that value of x, we get 0 plus 3, which we also know from our number properties is equal to 3. So if you see my magic pen here, I can also reveal that the expression becomes 3. Now, using my magic pen and the power of technology, I can also show you that by substituting all of these different values for x, either 0, 1, 2, and 3, into both of those expressions, we come up with the same exact responses, which lets me know, this is one way to let me know, that these two expressions are equivalent. Now, the second way we can check to see if two expressions are equivalent is by taking our table of values and actually creating a graph. So let's say for my 3 times the value of 2x, 3 times the value of x plus 1 minus 2x, let's say I do all of those values in a blue triangle. And then for the expression x plus 3, let's say I plot all of those with a red, it's a rectangle. It was supposed to be a square. Sorry about my bad drawing. So let's take a look at our points. So if you look at our first expression, the points that the coordinates we actually come up with are 0, 3. And if we go over to our graph here and we plot the points 0, we go over 0 points and up 3 points, we can make our blue triangle right here. Now you'll also notice the same thing happens for our red value. The coordinates are 0, 3. So if we come over and plot the same point and put a red square there, we can see that they're the exact same point. If we do the same thing for our next value, we notice that our coordinates are 1, 4. So again, if we come over one space and go up 4, we can draw in our triangle. Here. And if we do the same thing for our red values, which we also notice it's the same coordinate, 1, 4, we can do the same thing at point 1, 4. Now, if we were to continue going, we would see that if we drew a line through this, we would basically be drawing the same exact line. So both of those points, both of the expressions would lie on the same exact line right on top of each other, which is also a way to show that they're equivalent. Now, the final way we can show that two expressions are equivalent is to rewrite the given expression. So we're going to use some of those properties that we discussed earlier. So if I take a look at 3 times the quantity of x plus 1 minus 2x, I can use a property to rewrite it to look like this. And if you remember from your properties, the property that I used there is actually called the distributive property. Now, within our new expression that we rewrote, we have some like terms. We actually have the negative 2x here. If we were to follow the steps of combining our like terms, we come up with an expression that now reads x plus 3, which shows that these two expressions are equivalent expressions. So we've taken a look at 3 different ways to check to see if two algebraic expressions are equivalent. Substituting values for x or for the variable and creating a table. We also looked at graphing. And finally, we looked at using our mathematical properties to rewrite expressions to see if they are equivalent. I really hope you enjoyed this video.